What black people need more than anything is a chance to fail. At life, we're not in general allowed to fail. I just want to be free. I just want to be as honest and free.
Hey everyone, welcome back to me, myself, and Ifa here. And today's video, I don't really know how to introduce it without kind of going into the topic, but it's basically inspired by just different conversations I've had or things I've seen regarding black reality TV shows such as Love and Hip Hop, which some people may say is a negative portrayal of black people, or even when you just see black people acting a fool and you're like, oh no, they're embarrassing us, they're not representing us in the right way. And I was going to kind of talk about black excellence as a concept and how I think there is room for black mediocrity as well as black excellence. When I say mediocrity, I'm talking about in society's sense. I'm not in any position to call someone mediocre by what they choose to do. That also kind of links into my point. I don't know if that made it any clearer, but it definitely will get clearer as I go along. So we hear about black excellence a lot, you know, when people are winning Oscars or winning Grand Slams or CEOs or, you know, Forbes 30 under 30, and, you know, we'll hashtag black excellence. It's great to see black people out there smashing down barriers, and it shows people who want to be in these similar fields that they could do it too. And I'm all for that. I'm all for representation. I think it is very important in the strive for equality and in the world that we live in today. But I think what's important is this word want. You know, I said it shows people who want to be in these fields that they can do it. But what about people who don't want to? You know, I think it's an unrealistic standard to expect of the whole black race, which is made up of just so many different types of people. It can also have a damaging effect on both the people at the top and the people who, in the world's eyes, aren't at the top. And often with black excellence, the excellence is like double a standard of regular excellence. So it's people who are going above and beyond. Not just people who are succeeding, but people who are going above succeeding. And it's like, why do we have to do so much to be seen as excellent? I understand that there is an external element of that, but I think within our community, within ourselves, we can kind of control that by showing that there are different kinds of excellence, and to kind of set a blanket level of excellence amongst a whole race can actually be quite damaging and oppressive, and actually subscribing to symptoms of white supremacy. We're subscribing to having to go above and beyond to be excellent, and I think it's quite restrictive to kind of just apply it to what we consider, what the world considers as acceptable careers. Because at the end of the day, someone who's stripped for 20 years, to them that could be excellent. Someone who's on their 10th season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, to them that could be excellent. And I think it's important to show that there's room for more than one black narrative. And so I think if we really want equality, then we need to want equality in all senses of the word. So there are so many reality TV shows out there. There's X on the Beach, Love Island, Geordie Shore, the list goes on. And while people will happily say they're trash TV, I don't know a lot of people who would say they're bad representation of the white race. They don't take away from the narrative of white people being CEOs as well. The two are allowed to stand on their own, not taking anything away from each other. And so I think that with that we need to allow for these two narratives, or multiple infinite narratives within the black race, and not think that one is dragging us behind and one is lifting us up. They can actually both help in the strive for equality by normalizing the black experience and showing that, yeah, we're going to have CEOs, but we're also going to have entertainers. We can also be people who want to go on TV and party. And another negative surrounding this black excellence can be the pressures for people at the top. It can be an enormous amount of pressure for the people who are at these levels of excellence, because it feels like their whole race is on the weight of their shoulders. And if they mess up, not only have they messed up, but they've messed up for anyone else who wants to get there or anyone else who has gotten there. And I don't think this is the case. I think it could be very, very unhealthy. For example, Jordan Peele with Get Out, an amazing movie. And I understand that when people are at the top, regardless of colour, people expect things of them. However, if James Cameron puts out a film that flops, he's flopped. Whereas Jordan Peele puts out a film that's flopped, it's like, oh goodness, you've let us down, you know, you've proved them right? But realistically, I didn't mess up. Jordan Peele messed up. Potentially, he hasn't messed up yet, but I'm just saying potentially. So I think that while we can't control what the world thinks of us, we can kind of control the conversations we have. And so I think that in supporting people, we have to kind of allow for them to be human as well, and to not kind of put them as a god or as a savior in our eyes, because they're just people, and they are going to mess up. It doesn't mean that the whole race has gone backwards, and the more we accept that, it will kind of spread out. Do you get what I mean? So it will all spread into society. I believe and I hope so anyway. Even on a lower level, so away from like Jordan Peele, and even in my life, I don't always want to have to be a role model. I don't want to always have to represent my race or have to prove someone who's already thought something about me that it's not true, because realistically there are going to be some times that it is true. For example, if someone has looked at me and thought that I'm loud because I'm black, and then they realise that I am loud, I'm not going to lower my voice, which is naturally loud, because they've already thought this. And I always say, I'm Ife before I'm black. I'm not loud because I'm black. I don't like chicken because I'm black. I like chicken and I'm loud and I'm black. The reason I say this is because there are going to be people who are quiet and are vegetarian and also black. And I think it's more important to be yourself than to not be a stereotype. So if you're having to not be yourself to disprove a stereotype, you're still subscribing to a certain level of society. Like, you're still chained to society, you're just going the other way. So I think it's very important to just allow for us to be ourselves, whatever that means, whatever excellence that means, whatever greatness that means, just to be ourselves. Like, I love reality TV. It doesn't take away from my ability to engage in intellectual conversation. You've seen that. Well, hopefully you've seen that. I always, joke about how I will watch Love and Hip Hop and I'll go into a conversation about intersectionality. I'll then listen to Migos and the next song will be Les Miserables. Do you know what I mean? I am me. I like what I like. And so I think the main point of this is just volition, is allowing people to do what they want without having the pressures of their race on their back. And that's going to result in different levels and different types of people to allow us to be seen as human. And I don't think we need to wait till we get to a certain level to now be like, okay, relax a bit. I think we can actually have the two at the same time. I think it's all about balance. And while we definitely need the Beyoncés and the Oprahs and the Obamas, we also need the people who we consider as clowns, the Bow Wows, the Ray J's. Allow for representation of black people amongst the different levels of society. That's what's going to help us to be seen more as human, whether the world sees that within ourselves at least. So I don't know if any of that made sense, but comment below what you think. If you agree, if you disagree, as always, and stick around and watch my past videos. Also guys, I'm kind of tired of the, hey everyone, welcome back to myself and Ife. It's Ife here, because I'm like, obviously it's Ife. Like, who else would it be? Unless it wasn't me. But yeah, I basically want a new introduction. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. And subscribe, guys, subscribe.